held to draft religious leaders into the anti-graft campaign, it turned out that just a negligible few leaders had knowledge about the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, which was passed by Parliament in the year 2015. Programs Manager of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Jacob Tete Nyahunu, tells GH1 News the situation is alarming as the 10-year plan is clocking its 5th year with little impact on reducing the spate of bribery and corruption in public and private service.
If people say they've heard enough, research is saying otherwise. Because NACAP, which is the 10-year document which the Ghanaians have adapted to fight corruption, started way back 2015 when it comes to the implementation. The adaptation happened in 2014 and the implementation is 2015. We are in 2019, 4 years down the line.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, who graced the occasion, underscored the cardinal role the religious sects in the country could play in preaching the message of integrity across all spheres of the Ghanaian society. He, however, insists the religious leaders will have to first purge themselves of corrupt elements to stand as worthy advocates for a corruption-free society. Heeding the charge, the chairperson of the Kumasi Council of Christian Churches.
They have a lot of congregation, they meet a lot of people, they teach these people. So if they use this as part of their teachings, it will help change some of the people. It will not change everybody, that one but at least it will help change most of the people, especially the youth. It will help a lot. People with integrity are less corrupt. I will not say that they are 100% corruption-free, no, but at least we are sure that these people, to a larger extent, have high level of integrity and as a result, less corrupt.
Dr. Bishop Comfort Edu pointed out that the Christian faith already contains the tenets for living a blameless lifestyle.
Christianity is a way of life, and with a way of life, corruption too is also part of life. In a sense that we have to see that we have to eradicate it. It shouldn't be part of us. When Jesus Christ was in the world, he taught a lot about how one should live a life free of corruption. The church has a focus. The focus is to make the life change in the Christian life affect the individual. Not only corruption, but seeing to every aspect of life.
The Executive Secretary of the Office of the Ashanti Regional Chief Imam, Ustaz Ahmed Seidu, however, insists the teachings against corruption will only be relevant to their followers if officials in public service will offer services without demanding bribes.
As a leader, you need to be circumspect, you need to be objective, and you need to be, what I would say, truthful at times, because in most cases, this is what is eating deep into us, and not being able to tell the truth. And in most cases, so we are not aware of our own rights as citizens. This is what is causing the problem.
The campaign is being held under the tagline, Speak Up, Reject Corruption, and Report Corruption. It aims at increasing by 40% the tendency for Ghanaians to report acts of corruption for investigation and prosecution. The move is to expose religious leaders to the content of the 10-year National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, NACAP, and the roles they are to play to rid the country of the scourge of corruption, which appears to have permeated every sphere of the country.
Now let's get over to the phone lines now and speak with a lawyer for NDC presidential aspirant George Tete Wayo. And why are we speaking with him? We understand that the presidential hopeful has sued the IGP and the Electoral Commission over the violence that occurred at Ayawaso West Wogon constituency during the by-election there. Lawyer, good evening.
Good evening, and good evening to your cherished viewers.
Good. Lawyer, why has this become necessary?
Thank you very much. It's become very necessary because here is a person who is seeking to lead the greatest opposition party today in our country for the leadership of that party, and by extension, if his bid is gracefully acknowledged by our creator and the citizens, he will get to lead this country, and he seeks to lead a peaceful country. And even before he gets to lead a country, or even the president who is incumbent today, before he gets to get a second term to lead a country, we must go through an election, and nobody will want to go into a chaotic election. So it becomes very paramount that he goes to court for a court of law to get involved in addressing this matter of political vigilantism that seeks to engulf or seek to create problems when we are voting for representatives of our people. And so it's become necessary that 2020 is not here now, but we safeguard our electoral process before that time.
You wish to also explain his locus in the whole process, but let's turn attention to the reliefs he is seeking. We've seen a myriad of them. What exactly is he looking for?
Yes, what he's looking for are clear in the reliefs. We have about 12 reliefs we are seeking from the court, and most of them are declaratory in nature. For example, Dr. Garbrah is seeking a declaration to the effect that the Electoral Commission is the only body mandated to govern elections as at when they come in, and if they finally have a security briefing and details with the security apparatus, i.e. the police, they alone have the final say or submission on how the details of policing the election should be. We are seeking that in that declaration, the court goes ahead and order the Electoral Commission henceforth to be applying secret way of gathering information, that is, apply undercover investigation methods to gather information of violence and all other conduct in and around the electoral area, so that tomorrow, if there is any unrest, tomorrow, if there is anything, the EC will be able to provide accurate evidence for the proper sanctions to be meted out to citizens.
In this relief also, in this writ also, you are seeking that the court holds the Ministry of Security responsible for this, for national security responsible for this. Could you explain further that?
Thank you very much. That is the gravamen of the action. And the reason is that it is this illegitimate, unlawful deployment of masked gunmen or masked armed men that brought us this far. They went there and caused the mayhem. And Dr. Garbrah is saying that from where he sits as a citizen of this country, the Ministry of National Security does not have that locus. They don't have that power to deploy personnel to an electoral polling station. And we want citizens to see this risk in its express nature. We are saying that when it comes to elections, the EC sits down with the Ghana police and they get the details as to how the policing of the election will be. Nobody from national security can deploy. And so we are seeking a court declaration in fact that if they went ahead and deployed, then that act is illegitimate, it's unlawful, and the court must declare to that. And if the court so declares, then they are liable to the injuries and brutality caused to citizens therein.
Well, but lawyer, while what you say now may be true, if the National Security Coordinator or the Minister of State in charge of national security and his group do have intelligence that anything untoward could happen and they decide to get on the ground, that will not be out of place for them, will it?
No, that will be out of place. Election is a process. Election and voting day is an entirely ball game controlled by the Constitution. It is the Electoral Commission that is the sole body in this country, not even the president of this country. It is the Electoral Commissioner that on election day is the most powerful person in this country. And it's only the Electoral Commission that in tandem with the Ghana police can deploy. What can happen is that if the Ghana police details on the day at a particular polling station, if they envisage any any chaos or any untoward act, then they can call for reinforcement. So we are calling that intervening signal. So it's only when the Ghana police sends an intervening signal to any of the security apparatus that we are envisaging a possible disturbance here. Can you give us reinforcement? Then the national security can now kickstart. So the Ghana police, under the constitution, that is mandated to work in tandem with the EC on voting day, have not sent any intervening signal to any security apparatus whatsoever.
Well,
they have no
I see. We'll see how that is interpreted in court. But in seeking that, in seeking that the Ministry of National Security is held responsible for the violence that took place on January 31 at Ayawaso West Wogan constituency, does it come along with it any sanctions you are asking the court of?
No, we're just asking for appropriate compensation for the victims of the onslaught by these illegitimate squad that went there to cause mayhem. So,
very well.
Dr. Garbrah is simply saying that some members of the public were injured, and mostly from the NDC, because the NDC was the opposition party in that election that had the chance of winning the seat. And so members of the NDC have been brutalized and injured. And if the court so declares that the deployment was unlawful, then they are liable for whatever happened that day, including injuries. And therefore, the National Security Ministry is supposed to pay appropriate compensation to the victims therein.
Right. Thank you very much, George, and all the best in your case. George Tetewayo is lawyer for NDC presidential candidate hopeful Spio Garbrah. Now, from there, let's bring you insight. Tonight, we want to talk about the new regions and the inaugural ceremony that took place today. President Akufo Addo assured the chiefs, leaders and people of the newly created Northeast region that his administration will ensure the rapid development of the region in order to fulfill the underlying reasons as to why the new region was created. Addressing a ceremony at the forecourt of the Jubilee House to present Constitutional Instrument 116 to the chiefs and people of the Northeast region, President Akufo Addo said the 2019 budget has already earmarked 20 million cedis to aid in the region's smooth takeoff.
In his address, President Akufo Addo noted that he has appointed the Northern Regional Minister, Salifu Said, to act as a caretaker minister for the region until he appoints a substantive regional minister for the Northeast region. Additionally, President Akufo Addo announced that Narerubu has been chosen as the regional capital for the Northeast region.
I've charged the hard-working minister for the Northern region, Honorable Salifu Said, to act as caretaker minister for the Northeast region until a substantive minister is appointed. Secondly, Naraligo has been chosen as the capital of the Northeast region. I want to assure residents of the region, however, that government projects and structures will be equitably spread across the region. Let us work hard together, and I'm confident that with dedication and commitment, the Northeast region will develop and touch the lives of every resident and help us to build the great nation of Ghana we all desire. Let us be up and doing.
In an address read on his behalf by the overlord of Mampurugu, the Nairi Na Bohugu Abdullahi Mahami Shiriga was full of praise to the president for ensuring the creation of the new region during his term in office.
Mr. President, the people of the Northeast region owe you a huge debt that we cannot pay till the end of time. Words will not be enough to thank you. The proverbial fowl has always said that it does not owe the mortar a word of thank you. This is not out of ingratitude, but a modest attempt to avoid monotony. You are indeed a rare gem of a politician whose services to Mother Ghana would have been sorely missed. Your giant footprints on the sign of time shall remain indelible. Ayiko, Mr. President. The push-up pam.
He also expressed concern about the growing rural-urban migration, which he noted poses serious challenges to the development of the North.
I wish to comment on another critical issue which poses a serious challenge to the development of the North. The young men and women from the northern sector of the country live in droves to the southern sector in search of non-existing menial jobs. The dehumanizing conditions in which some of them live is a dent to human dignity. It is my fervent hope that with the right mix of investment by government and the private sector, the mass exodus of the youth would drastically reduce.
On Thursday, 19th of October 2017, by Constitutional Instrument Number 105, gazetted on Thursday, 12th of October 2017, the President appointed a 9-member commission of inquiry chaired by retired Supreme Court Judge Justice S.A. Brobe on the 27th of June 2018. The Commission of Inquiry presented its report to the President, recommending the creation of 6 additional regions to the existing 10. President Akufo Addo subsequently referred the decision of the Commission of Inquiry to the Electoral Commission for it to begin the processes for the referendum to be held in the recommended places. On the 27th of December 2018, the EC conducted same with all the 6 regions voting yes for the creation of the new regions.
Well, as you heard from the President, Nalarugu will be or is the capital for the newly created Northeast region. But let's cross over to Wale Wale and speak with Muhammad Janda Muniru, the patron of the Wale Wale Youth Advocacy. Now, this group was actually pushing for the capital of the Northeast region to be sited there. It swept them, obviously, and they are unhappy about this final decision. Muniru has joined us over the telephone. Good evening, Muniru.
Yeah, good evening.
Well, as the President said, indeed, as the President said, the fact that a particular community or town is named the capital does not mean that development will be captured in just that region. It will go everywhere. So perhaps there shouldn't be any concern with where the capital is, should it?
Very well. We all need the region because of development. And when you look at this thing, there are, three challenges town that I think they're supposed to, to select as the regional capital. But when you look at it, we here in Walwali is a municipal. Gambaga is a municipal and formerly a regional capital of northern region. So I think if they have to consider things. Normally, if Gambaga is not qualified to take the regional capital, then they're supposed to give it to Walwali. Because Walwali is the highest developed town than any other town here in northern region. I think apart from Tamale, you understand? And we have all the assets. We have buildings, we have hotels, we have offices, we have no problem with water, and those kind of things. So when you look at it, when you look at development, this place has already developed itself. We prepare for everything. So I don't see anything in Nalarugu. I think the government will have a bigger problem to set up the capital there because they need to put on so many structures and they have so many rocks to last before they even get big foundation. So when you look at this thing, it's chosen because of the traditional power, and that is the only reason. But when we just try to see, the genetics, the report from the BNI or the commissioners, I think Wale Wale is leading, and everybody can see it that way.
Muniru, what I was going to say is, if you believe that your town is well developed already, then asking for the capital, the original capital, really wouldn't be necessary, would it?
It's very necessary because I think so many people are coming into this town to work. You understand? They'll have problems for accommodation. They'll have problems for offices. They'll have problems for food. It's just common food. Believe me, when you go to Nalego, you can't get a good restaurant to go and to eat.
Perhaps this will give Nalarugu the chance to also develop as well as Wale Wale, so that development does not stay or end at Wale Wale.
I think then if that would be the case, they should have given it to Gambaga, because Gambaga is the municipal. So I don't see why they jump Gambaga and give it to Nalarugu.
What do you have against Nalarugu? What do you have against Nalarugu?
Well, I totally against the capital there because they have no infrastructures. They have absolutely nothing there, and they have no flat land, and they have problem with water, and so many problems. You understand?
I see.
So my problem is that, first of all, said it 3 times in front of him, that if the capital come to any of this town, he will accept it. So
Very well.
All of a sudden,
do we see the Wale Wale Youth Advocacy Group take any action to press home their demands, albeit pretty late?
Pardon me?
I'm asking, do we see the Nalarigu advocacy, the Wale Wale Youth Advocacy Group take any action to press home their demands?
Yes, please. I think it's just because of the overlord. He is the overlord of Peru, and whatever he says, there was a document that all the chiefs
Mohammed. Yes. Okay, so what I'm asking is, now that Nalarigu has been chosen, what are you going to do about it?
We have absolutely nothing to do about that. We just try to concentrate on our town to prove them that, yes, with our capital we can develop our town.
Very
and
well.
That's the only way we
Very
can
well,
do.
Mohammed. All the best with that. Thank you very much for your time. But let's stay on this conversation a bit longer. George Che Bafo is a local governance analyst. Let's gauge his perspective on what it will take to deliver development to this new region. Remember, government says that the region will get a seat capital of 20 million cedis. George, let's also go over to the Jubilee House and speak to Wilberforce Asare. That will be later. But right now, let's speak to Mr. Che Bafo. Good evening, Mr. Che Bafo. Well, my understanding is we have lost the local governance analyst over the phone. We can speak with my colleague Wilberforce, who has been with the president since the presentation of the CIs to the new regions. Wilberforce, we hear that Damongo has also been named capital of the Savannah region. However, it has created some misunderstandings. Share with us what you have picked up.
Well, so Keminni, indeed, before the ceremony here to officially present the constitutional instrument to the representatives from the Savannah region, there was word going around between the people who had come here that there was some confusion between Salaga and Dabongo. However, it would appear that by consensus, all the people that came here in the company of the Yavongra to receive the constitutional instrument accepted Damongo to be the regional capital for the new Savannah region. And so it comes as a surprise to some people here that some youth will go on rampage in the Salaga municipality demonstrating against the decision which was taken by consensus between all the leaders of the Savannah region to make Damongo the regional capital.
Very well. Now, let's talk about this rampage. What is the extent of damage?
Well, so from the images that I have seen from monitoring from our network and our websites, I gather that the New Patriotic Party office in the Salaga municipality has been bent down completely. all of the items that are located in this particular facility of the New Patriotic Party have been destroyed. And I gather from some persons I've been speaking to here at the Jubilee House, because I'm still here, that the party is not happy at what has happened. Some party leaders are going to be dispatched to the area to meet with the youth in order to calm them down and let them know that the president's promise that there will be even distribution of resources to all the cities in the capital will be adhered to strictly to make sure that everybody benefits from the development agenda for the Savannah region.
Let's stay on the Damongo situation for a bit. Now, do we know if security is on the ground?
Indeed, as soon as this news broke out, we are told that the police in the area have been dispatched there. There's also reinforcements coming from other parts of the northern region to ensure that they maintain the peace of the interior in that particular area called Salaga. And so we are told that indeed security is being beefed up to ensure that this demonstrations that is amongst the young people in the area does not escalate to become something that will become more of a national security concern. And so the security officials are telling us that they are in charge of the situation and they will ensure the peace of the interior in Salaga.
Now, while the president was presenting the CI to the people of the Savannah region and naming Damongo the capital, this was happening somewhere in Salaga. Did the president address the situation at all?
The president did not address the situation because the president's speech ended just a little, I should say, after 4:15 this afternoon. And this Salaga issues started somewhere around 4:30. And so probably it is the declaration of the president and the information getting to the people, the young people in Salaga, that precipitated their action. What we do know, the president did not say anything about it. Hopefully tomorrow, the process continues with 2 other regions that are going to receive their constitutional instruments. Probably the president will be invited to make comments as far as these demonstrations and disagreements are concerned.
For your time, Ovazasari has been with the president at the Jubilee House. Unfortunately, what should have been a very peaceful event has rather turned into one with fire and demonstration somewhere in Salaga because the people there are unhappy. Salaga was not chosen for the capital of the Savannah region. Unfortunately, we can't bring back George Hebafo, who is local governance expert, to pick his perspective on this development. We will do that in subsequent broadcasts. But that'll be all for Insight. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
A new day comes with a new hustle. My name is Shatawale. I started on the streets. They tried to hold us back, but we kept moving. I worked hard because I knew one day I would play hard.
Yeah, we work hard, we play hard, yeah. Cause I stop energy, stop energy, stop energy, stop energy, stop energy, stop energy. As I keep energy, as I keep stop energy, as I keep stop energy.
Storm Energy Drink. Work hard, play hard.
Everybody said I'm loving.
To anyone who ever pushed me to go further.
Come on, one more.
To anyone who ever gave me a hand up. To those who work together to set the bar higher. To those who give me the energy to go further. This is my team, and my team makes me.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
When we join our hands, it means that we are one. It means we stand, believe, and rise together. Because when our hands are joined, our hearts are joined too. And when all our hearts beat as one, extraordinary things become possible every day. The more you drink awake water, the more we can help keep hearts awake. For every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana.
The Ghana Trade Fair Company brings you the 23rd Ghana International Trade Fair under the theme Made in Ghana, Globally Accepted. Date 28th February to 11th March 2019. Checked. Venue, the Ghana Trade Fair Company Law. Checked. What's next? You have to register. Yes, today. Agriculture, fashion, food processing, check ekrasi.com, tourism, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, and just any product or service. Rush to register, exhibit, sell, network, and be globally accepted. Get involved in the 23rd Ghana International Exhibition. Call
0241 818658, 0555 528817, or 0552 474632.
Or visit www.tradefairgh.com for further inquiries. Made in Ghana, globally accepted. Sponsors, media partners.
As if one was not enough, not two but three of your favorite electronics and home appliances brands are combining powers to bring you the Electroland Triple Treat promotion. Hey, babe, this bronya, buy your 32-inch Samsung satellite TV for 999 Ghana cedis. Those tall 500-watt Bluetooth speakers for 1,399 Ghana cedis. Nasco TV for 699 Ghana cedis. The standing freezer for 1,699 Ghana cedis. And the fan for 139 Ghana cedis. And you also get that media display fridge for 1,799 Ghana cedis. High tech. This bronya, you go shop tire. Take off Electroland is giving you that triple treat discount and freebies when you buy Samsung, Media, or Nasco. Visit our all-new premium showrooms on the Spintex Road, Kumasi, Kasi Road, and Takrady. Awesome! Visit us now. Electroland bronya triple treat promotion that waits you.
You're welcome back. This is News Tonight live on GH1 television. Let's do our last politics story for the evening. Now, reports say the NDC chairman of the Swami constituency is in the Tafo hospital after he was attacked at a meeting organized by a presidential candidate hopeful of the party, Sylvester Mensah. Razak Kwafa is the NDC youth organizer in the Swami constituency. He's joined me over the telephone. Good evening, Razak. Tell us what happened.
Good evening and good evening to your viewers. I want to state it categorically that there is nothing of that sort. The Swami constituency chairman is walking and kicking. Nobody has featured him, neither has he also chairman to step aside. So he should hand over all property belonging to the party to his vice chairman, which is Mohammed Ziba. So he handed over one of the cars to the chairman, the vice chairman, and also pleaded with the regional chairman to give him 2 weeks that he's using the other car for 1 or 2 purposes, and when he's done, he will give it back to the vice chairman.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's over a month now. The vice chairman could not get the car. So when we met yesterday, some of the executives went to the chairman to ask for the keys of the car, saying he's not a constituency chairman anymore. And that brought about this riot, of which at least there was 1 or 2 fights among themselves. But it wasn't as serious as people claim. The chairman has been
very well. So the chairman wasn't injured. Who was injured? Because we have seen bloody photos.
No, yes. I was even amazed seeing those pictures. Our chairman, the person they claim has been stabbed, is with me in the morning when we were all in the police station trying to resolve the issue of the evening. Nothing of that stuff happened. So
well,
it is only those people who are
very well, Razak. I'm afraid we would have to leave our conversation here, but thank you for the clarity you have brought to this matter. Razak Kwafa is NDC youth organizer in the Swami constituency. Now let's talk health. Ghana is expected to be the first country in West Africa and second in the Sub-Saharan African region to start the delivery of blood and essential medicines across the country. The march talked about projects which drew widespread criticism from civil society organizations, health officials, and even the minority in parliament. Is expected to be rolled out in April this year. In the following report, GH1 News' Francis Aben takes us to Muhanga in Rwanda to observe how the project is being implemented and how it will practically be rolled out in Ghana.
Ghana has grappled with maternal mortality, fatal road accidents, and the provision of emergency health care across the country. These problems have led to needless deaths, lowered confidence in emergency care provision, and in turn painted a bleak picture about our health sector. In contrast, another country in East Africa that over the past 2 decades has grappled with Ghana's similar set of problems in the health sector has sought a solution. The World Health Organization reports that Rwanda's maternal mortality ratio as of 2015 stood at 290 per 100,000 live births, with the postpartum hemorrhaging being one of the key reasons for the high levels of maternal mortality. At the heart of this worrisome statistic are lives that belong to families and due to childbirth had to leave their children unceremoniously. With that in mind, the East African country looked to incorporate a technology-driven innovation to solve the problem. At the top of the hill, an hour's drive from the Rwandan capital Kigali, stands the distribution center of the health logistics company Zipline in Muhanga. The center, for the past 36 months, has been busy receiving emergency requests for blood from hundreds of hospitals in the remote communities of the East African country. Their task has been to urgently attend to these distress calls, and since the delivery of the very first order, more than 20,000 units of blood have been transported through these remotely controlled mini aircrafts described as zips to serve a country with a population of just over 12 million.
The further you travel outside of a major metropolitan area, the harder it is to access the medicine and blood you need to stay healthy and alive. In the past, medicine was delivered by motorcycle or by truck. Oftentimes, it could take several hours, sometimes days. What Zipline has done is create the world's first on-demand drone delivery service for medicine. And we're able to deliver now in around 30 minutes what used to take much, much longer. And the impact on health and human life has been significant.
Here is how the drone delivery service works in Rwanda. First, the emergency order is made from a hospital by a medical doctor via text, phone call, WhatsApp message, or email. The medical team at the distribution center receives the distress message, prepares the needed blood, wraps it in a special foil before placed in a box with anti-shock interior design. The box is enveloped with a parachute made from paper and special materials before placed in a mini aircraft. The drone is placed on a launch pad and after clearance is sought from the Rwandan Air Traffic Control, deployed to deliver the much needed blood. At the hospital, a designated location is marked where the drone drops the package mid-air and returns to the distribution center. This entire process happens within 60 minutes. Meet Dr. Richard Osabineza, the Director General of the Ruhango Provincial Hospital. He explains how this medical delivery system has improved provision of emergency health care at the facility.
Mortality, you know that if you could be in risk of losing a patient because of bleeding, because of anemia, you are safe because you know anytime you need blood, you will get it. What I've said, which is really realistic, is that time, financially, and being safe and patient satisfaction.
Currently, scores of Ghanaians hired by the healthcare logistics company are in Muhanga to gain first-hand training before the rollout of the bigger project in Ghana later this year. The rigor in their training is to tackle a project more than twice the size of the Rwandan maiden model. Samuel Akufo is the fulfillment manager who will be in charge of preparing the emergency medications for delivery.
The emergency order is when a patient is in dire need of a blood product, and the patient is dying, and the hospital has called for us to supply. And then a resupply order is when the hospital is running low on their stock and they need to replenish their stocks. So basically, we do those two orders, emergency orders and resupply orders. As I said, I've been here for a month, and I'm here with two other colleagues who are also trained fulfillment operators. That's Elizabeth at the back there. She's a biochemist. And then there's another gentleman. He's a medical lab scientist. He's called Prince. So we have one pharmacist, one medical lab scientist, and then we have a biochemist.
So based on how the system works in Rwanda, how will it be implemented in Ghana? I put this question to Daniel Mafo, who is the head of systems integration for Zipline Ghana.
Currently, we are in the process of putting up the first distribution center, which is situated in a little town called Ominako, just about 5 kilometers outside of Suhum. Once we have the center built up and ready, we hope to be able to do an official launch and start offering the service to the facilities within the vicinity somewhere before the end of Q2. In total, we are looking across the 4 centers, hiring about 200 skilled labor force. So that will be mainly composed of engineers, healthcare professionals like pharmacists, biomedical scientists, because our operations mainly run around engineering and healthcare. But indirectly, what we do is we end up creating a lot of other jobs. For instance, the packaging, manufacturing process. We actually hire local people from the community we work in so that we train them on how to put it together.
When the project starts in Ghana, expected to begin between April and June this year, over 500 hospitals in the Eastern, Ashanti, Central and Greater Accra regions will first benefit from the Ominako Center near Suhum, with 3 more centers to be set up later in 2019 to deliver blood and over 148 essential drugs across the country. A nation of 12 million people in the last 3 years has benefited from drone delivery service here in Rwanda. Ghana is seeking to emulate this feat in upscaling its advance in healthcare delivery with this intervention. Here at Muhanga, there are 16 drones essentially responding to distress calls from health facilities across the nation to supply blood. And the facility here is seeking to upscale its operations in adding essential medical supplies to their delivery lines. Ghana is seeking to emulate this and make it better. The expectation is that once this is rolled on, things will change. As we speak, a number of Ghanaians are here who have been employed to work with Zipline in Ghana to get the first-hand training, and many of them are finding things a lot more interesting. Also, the details on the sites that are to be provided in Ghana are well in advance, and when things get online, delivery of healthcare in the nation will improve. From Muhanga, on the outskirts of Kigali in Rwanda, I'm Francis Aban reporting for GH1 News.
Well, from Rwanda, let's take you to the world of Kweku Timing, and you know what that is, business. Hello, Kweku.
Hello, Keminni. It's a delight to be here this evening. Well, I tell you about how the spare parts dealers cannot hold on anymore, and they are planning to slap their cost to you. When we come back, I'll share details of this with some Valentine's.
Business Brief is brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
All right, so spare parts dealers at Ayawaso can say they cannot hold it anymore, and they are prepared to pass on the cost of the goods they buy to consumers if the city is not stabilized. We have details in this particular story. All right, let's give you some more details here. And here, the Spare Parts Dealers Association at Ayawaso have stated that they will no longer bear the cost of the rising cedi. Well, they have threatened to pass on the cost to consumers if the cedi is not stabilized.
The cedi since January this year has seen a 2.4% depreciation in value against the dollar from 4 cedis 90 pesos to 5 cedis 20 pesos. The decline in the value of the currency is beginning to have a negative impact on traders, particularly importers, and it appears the situation is far from ending. In the first week of February, the local currency was going for 5 cedis 10 pesos. And by the second week of February, the local currency lost 10 pesos to trade at 5 cedis 20 pesos against the US dollar. Co-chair of the Ayawaso Spare Parts Dealers Association, Clement Boateng, is of the option that the decreasing value of the cedi will lead to increase in prices of goods and services in the country.
No businessman is Father Christmas, because like I told you earlier on, in the beginning of the year, the cedi was selling at 5 cedis. Then by the second week of January, third week, it rose to 5 cedis 10 pesos, and currently it's 5 cedis 20 pesos. So you could see the difference.
He maintains traders will have no option but to transfer the price of import duties on consumers, thus increasing the cost of living.
If during January I needed about 5,100 Ghana cedis to change $1,000, currently I need to raise 5,200 Ghana cedis before I can be able to get the same $1,000, and which means I have to, pump in extra money to be able to make the difference. And when it happens like that, I'll have no option than to, pass it to the consumer. It's the consumer that will definitely, bear the blunt. So that is the more reason why I'm telling you, government must try as much as possible, to do something. Otherwise, the path that we are trading, I think is not the best for the business community.
The last time the cedi experienced this major depreciation over a short period of time was in May 2018.
I bet you're thinking about your car then, but we've got some good news coming up shortly with Keminni and Amanor. At least that would refresh you a little bit. My name is Kweku Timing. I'm done with business.
Business Brief is brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
And yes, indeed, we've got some love coming your way. We would want you to rekindle your love for this Valentine's Day by signing on to the Duvet Experience. It promises to be heart-stopping fun than you've ever had before. Join the GH1 TV team to get insights into how to better express your undying love and receive an education of a lifetime, or how to keep the love fire burning always.
Having fun in the bedroom doesn't have to be just the act of sexual intercourse, but the play leading there also matters. Regardless of the foreplay, both the penis and vagina must be strong enough to enjoy the moment. But who needs the vagina tightening gels, pills and the many concoctions when exercising the pelvic bones will do a better trick? The duvet experience aims at teaching you and your partner tricks that will keep your love alive and the passion aflame. Papa Kwamena, better known as Mr. Smooth, is one of the speakers and poised to share some trade secrets that will titillate the women and excite the men.
Whether you are a virgin, whether you are not having sex, you are not married, it's important to exercise the vagina, because when you leave the vagina inactive, it will atrophy. We teach you the exact muscles to use and the exact tools to use on the muscles to get the vagina strong.
The duvet experience is scheduled for February 16th, 2019 at the Alisa Hotel in Accra.
Well, and how do the young people say it? It's going to be lit. So you have to be there on the 16th of February at the Alisa Hotel for the duvet experience. That's how we end today's edition of News Tonight. We are back same time tomorrow evening with Patrick Stevenson. I'll see you over the weekend. My name is Keminni. Amanor. Good night.
February, there is love in the air and romantic dreams come true. Imagine exchanging your wedding vows 30,000 feet in the sky. GH1 TV, in collaboration with Africa World Airlines, is making this lovely fairy tale come true for a lucky couple in the Love in the Air Valentine promotion. Are you a couple ready for the altar, or do you know a couple ready to say I do? Simply send your love story to short code